Let me quickly break down everything that's happening for you if you're and you can't see it. During the same time, they released the JFK files, which implicate our greatest ally in a president's murder.
Just there, the LBJ was involved. Well, I saw something from Alex Jones, never before heard audio of a conversation between close associates of LBJ. Listen to this.
I'm a true blue to Lyndon, as I've always been, and tried to carry out every order that he's ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget.
We wanted to see the actual tape to verify that you had tapes from that time, etc. Right. And you came to the studio with this little...
They tell you there's massive structures under the pyramid, which basically rewrite history.
So here's your big update now out of Egypt, and it just made this mysterious Giza discovery from last week way more real. Now, remember that controversial claim last week about a massive hidden underground city beneath the Great Pyramid? Well, the research team behind it just dropped a major bombshell. They say they found a sealed sarcophagus buried deep beneath the pyramid's complex. Yes, a literal stone sarcophagus, untouched and hidden for possibly thousands of years, according to reports from the Daily Mail.
They get everyone to get out and vote for change who are fed up with their government, only to show you your vote was worthless because we're being occupied by a foreign government.
Well, Trump got some browning points from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on Monday. Netanyahu says Trump is doing exactly what he wants, and this is a template that other governments should use to do what Netanyahu wants. Trump is basically being a good dog, and other nations should do this too. What he's talking about is the war on anti-Semitism. What he is admitting is that Israel now has the power to define anti-Semitism and get people punished for what is not really anti-Semitism. It's criticizing the government of Israel. Because we criticize the government of Israel has nothing to do with Jewish people or Jewish practitioners. We're talking about criticizing Israel. Netanyahu very much would like you to get those two things confused and get arrested and get kicked out of a country if you're an immigrant, and get punished and get deplatformed if you criticize Israel, because they would like the definition of anti-Semitism to engulf that.
Is this being done for America or for Israel? I mean, this is a fair question. Is the United States government now just taking edicts and orders from Israel? Is this what people voted for when they elected Trump, is to have a country taking orders from Israel? I don't think so.
Telling me that saying from the river to the sea is a terrorist incitement to genocide while I'm seeing genocide? Like, I'm logging onto my device and seeing a genocide, but you're saying that people's words for liberation is the threat. So it's just this topsy-turvy reality that we're trying to wade through. Meanwhile, people's lives are being ruined and destroyed. People are being suspended, expelled. I mean, their jobs are being taken away from them for just speaking facts and just trying to stand in solidarity with people who are being repressed and occupied and killed. And what's happening to journalists? I mean, the fact that Western powers, European powers, are more concerned with criminalizing pro-Palestine journalism and speech than they are stopping a genocide really just says it all.
Who is taking away your speech for noticing genocide, which COVID was ultimately training you for, to get you to not only not speak up when witnessing potential atrocities, but also get you to not believe your eyes and ignore trauma.
I make this, I say 99% of Jews make excuses for this, right? And I look down in the comments, and this guy shows me this. He goes, they actually enjoy it. And I said, oh my God. And this guy goes, nice. Look at it, this one. And I just said, that's it, I'm done. This is the first time in my life that I've said this publicly. This is why I'm anti-Semitic.
The Israelis are mad, you mate. Bam, bomb, brains, blood all over the place. It's all over for you guys. Got a problem, bro? Got a problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? Huh? You want to know what the last guy who said that did happen to him? Tell us. Yeah, he's in Iran now. He's 6 foot under. Actually not. Got bam, incinerated instantly. Mate, enjoy the rest of your little short life. Have a good one.
Who gives a shit?
Okay, but don't you feel like, for example, children?
Children grow up to be Arabs.
את יודעת כמה חפים מפשע נהרגו בעזה?
טוב, מסקנה שנעצור.
ואת לא רוצה לענות על זה?
תודה.
אפשר לשאול למה?
And all this is happening as we head into World War III in conflict with Iran, which most religious people would argue is biblical.
Would the United States actually go to war with Iran? And if so, would they use a nuclear weapon? It sounds like a ridiculous question until you realize the war has already started. The nukes are already deployed and no one told you. Documents recently revealed top secret war plans, covert operations, assassinations, bomber runs, and cyber attacks. And private contractors have been warned that just whispering about their assignments could land them in federal prison. All of it already in motion. All of it classified at the highest levels, all of it pointed at Iran. This is as high stakes as it gets. Because what if things spiral out of control? What begins over the skies of Iran could ripple across the Arabian Peninsula, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, the world. It could crash global markets, collapse supply chains, and yes, maybe even bring back the unthinkable. A nuclear strike. This isn't speculation. It's all laid out plain as day in Pentagon documents and statements from the Trump administration. The only question now is, how far are they willing to go? On February 20th, 2 B-52 bombers took off from a secret US base in Qatar. Their mission, drop bombs on targets in Iraq. US Central Command called it a quote, routine operation, meant to assure regional partners of US commitments and to deter adversaries. But Iran saw something else. Press TV reported the strike as a direct message, a warning. Even though the bombs landed in Iraq, the choice of aircraft spoke volumes. You see, the B-52 is capable of delivering nuclear payloads, and its presence, Iran argued, was a calculated act of intimidation. Now here's what's strange about this event. If you Google it, you'll find almost nothing from major US media outlets. And that's odd, especially considering how obsessed the media used to be with Trump doing anything even remotely provocative.
I posted this a while ago, and it has now gone viral all over the fucking world, which is really cool. But every American needs to look at the comments, because there are people from all over the world talking about global politics, talking about how the rest of the world is talking about the United States right now. And let me tell you, it is extremely important that every American understands the situation we're in right now globally. Everyone needs to understand how the world is seeing us right now and the consequences that the United States' actions is about to have. Because we are headed into World War III. And I really need you guys to read the comments, because we're not seeing a lot of stuff from outside the United States, unless you're specifically going searching for it, which I know a lot of Americans are not, but we are not getting outside news. They are censoring the shit out of us. And the rest of the world can't really see what we're talking about either, and they're doing this very purposefully. If you want to talk to people from around the world, if you want to see what they're talking about, please go look at this post and check out the comments.
2 weeks after the bombing run in Iraq, things escalated on March 3rd. This time, a US B-52 bomber flew over the Mediterranean, flanked by Israeli F-15s, F-35s, and British fighter jets.
How do you feel about Trump then? I feel like Elon's probably corrupting him too.
Well, here's what I got to say, brother. And this is all I have to say. Because, you know, the world worships Donald Trump. This is what I'm going to say. There's going to be a war in our generation that's the biggest war that has ever took place on this planet. And it is brewing right now. And that's all I have to say. I don't have to say anything. Look at the bodies.
Who do you think is going to be behind that war, Bryce?
You know who's going to be behind it. It's going to be Israel versus Palestine. They're going to bring in Iran and China and Russia. And we're going to get the shit into the stick here in America. And a lot of our people are going to die for shit that don't matter to us.
And that all this has to happen so they can have their savior return, to take them out of the end times, so they continue to willingly allow atrocities to happen, all while completely overlooking and ignoring the fact that some of God's chosen people who they support hate them and their savior.
Israel, their people, the Jews, are better than all of us. They're better than all of us. And you need to accept that. This is where, with the kids, where we start our indoctrination. I know that's a strong word to use, indoctrination, that it gets such a bad reputation. But that's where it starts. That's where it started with me.
One another.
The godly thing to do is to kill you.
The godly thing is to kill me.
That's right.
Yes?
That's what the Torah says.
The Torah says to kill us.
The Torah says that people who worship idols such as yourself, when there is a Sanhedrin,
to kill us.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the Torah
so we know how the Jewish people feel. What about Christians, yes? That you discriminate against Christians.
Christians are idol
You discriminate
the Torah
against
says that Christianity is idol worship.
In America today, we have white supremacy. In the Torah, we had Amalek. Amalek is seen as the eternal enemy of our people, whose members found strength by making us suffer. Therefore, when the Lord your God grants you safety from all your enemies around you, and the land that the Lord your God is giving to you as a hereditary portion, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. Our rabbinic sages parse these sentences and derive two distinct meanings. Blotting out the memory of Amalek is a military command, literally to destroy Amalek. Now facing today's Amalek, we are reminded that the Torah calls us not just to escape, but to extirpate Amalek. We are commanded to do real and literal battle against it. That means coming off the bench in the fight against white supremacy. It means putting our reputations and our money and our physical bodies on the line. But also so that we are ready to answer people with radically destructive and incoherent versions of history, so that we can counter white supremacists, so that we can counter Amalek, and blot them out by retaining on our lips, in our records, their history. By being bearers of history, we can help guide the future. Blotting out Amalek need not merely be about military conquest. Equally important is ideological victory.
While continuing to ignore the recent pyramid discovery and every other ancient civilization that has come and gone, completely voiding what some biblical scholars believe happened or the story told them to believe. Then they tell these same biblical scholars, through more declassified documents, that not only is the Ark of the Covenant real, but they found it using remote viewers, which those same biblical scholars might consider evil.
Shall we talk Ark of the Covenant? Because I've been waiting to talk about this all day. New CIA documents just resurfaced from 1988 that claims the Ark of the Covenant is real, and we have a location for it. Sounds like something out of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's true. And the CIA, according to these reports, says the Ark was confirmed to exist through remote viewing, describing a gold-covered chest guarded by powerful beings in an underground Middle Eastern chamber.
Which could also make them question their faith, or will make them choose to continue to ignore human potential in history. And getting you to question your faith is everything, because it affects your ability to believe, which is why they use predictive programming and have been showing you things like the pyramids on the dollar bill, and using Hollywood and your favorite entertainers to not only distract you, but getting you to question everything you love and thought you knew, especially who you idolize. And as all of this is ignored, so is another reset, which we are currently experiencing, because all of the lost and ancient civilizations over time would prove that civilizations much more advanced than ours were completely wiped off the mat or reset.
You guys, I think I found it. This is the big one. This guy said, look into the Parliament building in Romania that was built in the 80s, and you're not going to believe the fucking story on this one. So this is the biggest building in the world, the heaviest building. It weighs over 9 billion pounds, 4.5 million tons, and it went up in the 80s. And there's not a single construction photo of it. This is all I could find. Look, they are digging it out. And look, it's dirty. It's messy.
And if all of this is cyclical, if World War III breaks out, the only thing being able to stop it would be alien or divine interdimensional intervention.
More mysterious objects over the pyramids seen today. What is happening? Let's take a look at this.
Okay, this is unbelievable. I'm standing here right next to the Great Pyramid of Giza, just outside Cairo, and there's literally a UFO circling right over the top of the pyramid right now. Look at that.
Which is why recent UFO UAP sightings are trending more and more as we get closer to inevitable nuclear war. Which means some Messiah would have to appear. Whether Christians or God's chosen people. Nimrod's rebirth in the Tower of Babel.
I don't know if you heard about this yet. The real weapon of mass destruction they went over to Iraq was to get Nimrod, because they found his tomb. They raided the reincarnation chamber. Hillary Clinton said, yeah, we got this. And that's the real weapon of mass destruction, because they want to bring him back.
Well, let me tell you something. There's something really deep about that. If you look up the story of the Tower of Babel, and in the story of the Tower of Babel, that's Genesis chapter 11, verse 9. If you flip it, that's 9/11. That's not weird. Genesis chapter 11, verse 9/11. But regardless, that story tells the story of the Tower of Babel. And what happened was that Nimrod was, the man on earth, the boss, and he wanted to build a kingdom to heaven to go kill God. So Nimrod was like the literal Antichrist. So what God did is he made him, everybody that was building this tower speak, 60 different languages and broke us up in tribes. But what I'm saying is, Dominic, what they're trying to do, the NWO is they're trying to reverse engineer that. They want us under one ruler, one language, one digital currency, because once they do that, once we're under that one world order, that is Nimrod, that is Satan.
Christ's return or aliens? And maybe all three. And while they distract you and continue to dumb you down by giving you TikTok brain, so you'd never read a declassified document or book that could actually help you understand reality, they instead get you to chase the money that's pre-programming you to do certain things over and over and over to survive, to get the money that continues to distract you from all of the atrocities happening around you, but you need the money to survive, all while the money is distracting you from said potential atrocities that literally could affect your survival. And the inversion is complete. And all of this is to distract you from the fact that the all is mine and the universe is mental. And because you're so distracted and reactionary to fear impulses, you can't escape the matrix feedback loop you create for yourself, while consuming things that continue to keep you stagnant and complacent, while they literally tell you through things like Project Looking Glass and unclassified CIA documents like the Gateway Files, that reality is literally what you believe in imagination is all.
The Iraq War had to a large degree the mission of capturing a looking glass technology that was dug up in Sumer, which was originally in the possession of Gaddafi in Libya, which is why they attacked Libya. Gaddafi got rid of it and gave it to Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was using this technology, viewing the future. The U.S. government went in after him because they felt that the fate of the world was at stake, because if they did not capture this technology and get it back and deconstruct it, that the earth would have a pole shift.
Which is why we are all children of God and should use our imagination like children and think without fear, and how we create a better world and live in harmony like children do. This is innately why we strive to do things for other people, especially children, because we see ourselves in them. Which is why we're sick and tired of watching our government fuck them.
Man, don't you hear the name of a king? Long as my name in your mouth, it's making me think.
You're fucking welcome. Also, If you want to help me save children, people, and yourself, then scan this QR code or go to savekids.life and join the future of business, commerce, and making an impact globally before they fuck our world for good.